of darkness. Sharon Osbourne, come on down. I love the fact that you're in all white when almost everybody in the theater is in all black, so you can stand out. Thank you so much for coming here. I'm so excited to chat with you. I'm sure everyone's excited. I was excited anyway, but I found out you actually hadn't seen this movie before. You saw it for the first time with all of us.
Yeah, first time, and I loved it.
Okay. So, what are your first thoughts?
It is like somebody said in the movie, it's like going home. And then when you see it and the complete history of it, it's just amazing. And it's so wonderful to know that they're still doing more great things to the hotel because it's under construction now. And I just hope that it'll be there forever. It's historical, and so many things in this town have been destroyed. And you know, you look at the history books of this town, the amazing people that live here, the talent here, everything, and it just seems that the music industry, TV, film, it's slipping away. You know, people are leaving by the droves, and especially in TV, what this town has done to it. And I just hope that they get it sorted out.
I hope so too.
Because we're all hanging on. We all love it here, and we're all hanging on. You know, please, somebody do something. So much talent has left this town. You know, it's set designers, stylists, caterers, makeup artists. They've all gone because there's no studios.
And also, Slash mentioned this in the film, that the whole city has changed. If you went away and came back, you know, a lot of the landmarks have been torn down or renovated, but the Sunset Marquee is still there.
Still there, and I can remember the days, you know, we all can, when we would drive down Sunset on a weekend, and it would be traffic. You would just watch people walk in the streets, who's playing at what club, who's at what bar, and that was just such a vibe, and it was the friendliness in this town. I mean, when you would live here and say you're a new artist, at the weekend you'd go up to the canyons, everyone would be barbecuing, everybody's house open, you go in, they don't know you're all hi, I'm from this band, whatever. That's how it was. It was a huge community here of talent. Music, film, TV, and everybody mixed together, and it's just heartbreaking to see what's going on in this city.
It sounds like you got very emotional watching this film.
I did, because it's, you know, when you think of the talent that has walked through that hotel.
And you walked through the hotel, I think, before you even, when you were still working with your father, like in the mid-70s.
Yeah.
Tell me about your first impression when you walked in.
That was a time when it was a bit funky. And I was like, oh, okay, this is very nice. And it was just that the bar was so great. And the community that was in there made you feel like you belonged in there. It was like being in the Rainbow or the Whiskey or the Roxy, and it was that same crowd and that same community, and you always felt at home. I mean, I wouldn't stay there in those days, but because I lived here, but I would, you know, it was permanent where you'd meet everybody.
So I understand when Tyler and Craig were rounding up all the celebrities and people they wanted to talk. And by the way, the fact that you got Morrissey to do that and basically do the end credits, he was practically quoting, "There is a light that never goes out" during the credits. He doesn't even do any interviews these days, not even for his own album.
Oh, he loved it because he could put on those bloody pajamas and just be himself. He was fabulous.
His Jim Jams.
Yes,
So
he called them Jim Jams.
Yeah.
So you managed to get eventually like all these huge rock stars, but it's my understanding that you and Kelly were two of the first people to sign on to do it, and without hesitation. So I know that this, it's not even, we could do a whole documentary about the Osbournes at the Sunset Marquee, because you kind of lived, much like
We
Billy
did.
Bob Thornton, you lived
We
there.
did, yeah, we did. It was, and each time we would flip houses here, we'd go and stay at the Marquee and look for another house, and we'd be there, you know, for months, and it was home for my kids.
So I know that Kelly, I mean, first of all, I want to know what you thought of all the animations, because there's a little animation of Kelly being the Eloise, and you got to be you need like to be a superhero cartoon person.
No, the
Ozzy-
dragon. I'm always the dragon lady.
Ozzy was in
I
a
should have
cartoon.
been Chinese, you know.
What do you think of all the animations of you and
Loved it, yeah.
So there's a little one of her kind of sneaking out. I know she
Yeah.
used to sneak out. I have some things that did not make the film, but I know she used to sneak out to the bar, as she was saying, and I wonder. She said there were spies in the hotel.
Oh,
that
yeah.
you.
I get a call from the desk. She's down here, and I'm like, "Are you watching her?" Yeah, okay. Give her half an hour and tell her to get back. That was it.
So I don't. Now that I know that this was your first time watching the film, what was your reaction to the line that Kelly had when she's like, "I did the first kiss, the first
Oh,
line of
yeah,
cocaine."
yeah.
Did you know that?
No.
You know, the one where she won't name who gave it to her.
Yeah, I know.
You know who gave it to her?
Yeah.
You don't have to say, but you know.
Yeah, it's Courtney Love.
Okay. Well, now that you've said it, I want to hear this story. Okay. Tell me what happened.
I will say no more, but
Did you take the way when Kelly was saying you do not want to be yelled at by Sharon Osbourne? Did you yell at Courtney?
more than that. Let's leave it at that.
I did not even expect you were going to say it, so thank you.
She's a cunt anyway. A boring old cunt now. A dry old cunt.
Now my kids
She
know what the
deserves
C
it.
word means. I said now we know what the C word means.
For the director's cut, we are going to include all of that.
Director's cut.
There's also a story that Kelly actually ended up doing a song. I don't think it ever came out, but she ended up doing a song many years later with Cyndi Lauper. And the family first met Cyndi in the gym.
That's right,
Tell
that's
me that
right.
story.
Yeah, and then Kelly was all excited because she loved Cindy at that time. And Cindy and I then became friends, and we're still friends today. Yeah, she's a
At the
very,
time?
very good person.
So Ozzy was working out in the gym.
Yeah,
Kelly was there.
yeah.
And I think Cindy thought,
She was like, what the hell's going on here? And she was great, you know. Cindy at that time had that, you know, New York attitude, and she would come off like a toughie, but she's so soft. She's the best.
so like I said, I have all these like little insider things I know, because, you know, if we had had all the stories about your family at the Sunset Marquee, there wouldn't have been room kind of for anybody else. So I also, so Kelly learned to drive at this hotel.
Yeah, she did.
So tell me, do you
Yeah.
remember that? Was she actually like driving like on Alta Loma, or was she?
Oh yeah, they would pick her up for her lessons, and they would take her all around the area, you know, the teachers, and yeah, she learned to drive through living there.
And there was another story about how she tried to climb out the window to escape school, and then she ran into an actor who became one of her friends. Do you know this story?
Which actor? Tell me now. Tell me.
It was Reese Ifans. Am I pronouncing that right? The guy. He's on what? He was in Notting Hill. A lot of people would know him as like the guy from Notting Hill.
Yes, I know. Yeah,
So how?
they are friends. Yeah.
And they met because she was trying to escape from the hotel.
Yeah, and run away from the nanny that was there to take kids to school, waiting in the car. And
So what are some of that weren't in the film? What are some of your fondest memories? And I don't know how, like, if you had to add how many months that you spent there as a family. This was your home away from
oh my
home.
God, it's hard because before Ozzy and I were married, Ozzy would stay there when we were putting together his solo project. So he would stay there, and I think this is gone. Hello. Hello.
You broke it.
It was such a mic drop when you said the Courtney Love thing. The mic just broke.
Oh, she's gonna come after me.
How many people were filming? All right, so we're going viral.
Yeah, she can join the queue.
I absolutely didn't think you were. I did not think you were gonna. I'm glad I asked, but I did not think you were gonna tell me. I'm so glad you did. But yeah, what are some of your besides? That's probably not one of your fond memories. What are your fond memories as a family?
Oh, there were so many great people that worked there. There was one of the waiters that did room service that became a friend of ours. And Ozzy just...
They're saying Michael. Was it Michael?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, we love Michael.
Yeah. Yeah. And we had his phone number, and we would, you know, when we weren't even there, we would, you know, check in on him and all of that.
Didn't Ozzy record at Nightbird Studios downstairs?
Yeah, Ozzy did, and also my daughter Amy did. So yeah, we've been down there a lot.
I read that Amy had her fifth, I think it was her 5th birthday party at the Marquee, and then Slash showed up, as one does to a 5th birthday party
Yes,
in Hollywood.
Slash showed up. It was like in the afternoon, and then suddenly I see Slash and Ozzy leaving. And I'm like, well, that's fucked that up then. So, and where's Daddy gone? He's working.
Did he come back?
No.
Aw. I do know Kelly says one of her favorite things besides the hot tub there was the chocolate cake at the Sunset Marquee.
Yeah, the chocolate cake was great. And also, who was it that mentioned the rabbits? Because we used to love the little rabbits. They were
Morrissey
just
did, because he's, you know, an animal.
Yeah,
Other-
just, they used to be by the hot tub.
Well, you got the best line in the film, I think, when they asked about the
Yeah,
hot tub.
Kelly. I know, and I knew what was going on in that hot tub too. It was like Ozzy and I were like,
You must have known when you said that on camera that they were going to use that line. I'm surprised it's not in the trailer. But what was the hot tub like, or what was, okay, I think an interesting, I don't know if I'd call it a contradiction, but an interesting double thing is this was a hotel that was not family friendly and yet totally was at the same time. It was a family atmosphere, but it was also a rock and roll atmosphere. It's kind of interesting.
It worked for us because the bungalows were so far away from the main hotel, and there was another swimming pool. There's another swimming pool there. So we would always use the other swimming pool, and we were in the bungalows away from what was going on. And so, you know, in the evening, if Ozzy and I wanted to go down to the main hotel, we would, but the kids were always, well, not Kelly, but Jack and Amy were in, you know, in the bungalows.
Is there anything from this film having you probably more than, with the exception of Billy Bob Thornton, you probably spent more time at this hotel than anyone else who's in the film. Is there anything that surprised you that you did not know?
No.
You probably know a lot more.
No, and we never went near the hot tub at night. That was the time. In the day, you know, after they'd cleaned it, it was like, all right, dip a toe in. But at night, never went there.
One thing I just want to mention about the pool thing, one of my favorite scenes, besides the scenes you were in, was I like worship Russell Mulcahy. He's like in one of my top 5 people I want to interview or meet. He like created the vision of my childhood. And I did not know he did Tonight I'm Yours, because it is quite different from all the Duran Duran type things he did. And watching him kind of cringing at it and not wanting to like look cracked me up. And you two as directors, were you like feeling his pain when you made him do that? When you're like,
No, we loved every second of it.
I don't think people, when they made videos back then, realized that 40 plus years later they'd be able to cue them up on a computer-like device. You know, they played on MTV, and back then they didn't even have MTV basically when it was made. I think it was 82, so they barely had MTV. But who knew that would be something that he'd be watching years later and would be on a big screen in Sunset Strip.
It was a very honest reaction, and you always love that.
I mean, he's wrong. That video's great. There's nothing wrong with that. I guess maybe it's not typical what he does, but I love that video. So I was talking about the family thing, and I wondered, Sharon, how you related, because with all the rock and roll debauchery tales that are happening, and that, of course, that's probably why people come to watch the movie. At the heart of it is this father-son story with George and Mark Rosenthal that, you know, you're from a rock and roll family dynasty. You must have really appreciated, what did you think of that part of the film?
I thought it was really endearing. It's a great, great story to be told. It is.
Was there anything about it that you sort of related to or resonated?
I related to because how old his dad is, that generation, how they were on their kids. They were really tough, really, really tough. And it was like, you know, they bust your balls to make you what you were. And his dad, listen, did a great job with him. Look at what he became.
Did you relate to it because of your own experience? When you
I just know, I just know that generation and, you know, his culture and everything he came from, and so he was hard on his kids. And I'm just so used to seeing that from that generation. I didn't know it was as bad as it was, but I knew his dad was, you know, hard.
I believe Mark Rosenthal is here. Is he here in the theater?
Come down, Mark.
No, it's just a work.
Want to sit in the theater? You want to sit here? All right, well. Hello.
I'll take a double.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Good to see you as well.
First of all, thank you for coming down here, and thank you for this film, and well, thank you for saving the Sunset Marquee as well. I didn't know any of that stuff. Thank you for that, because Sharon was saying how so much in LA has changed. That could have been another thing that got torn down or sold or whatever. So thank you for that.
It'll be next year that becomes Circle K.
Don't make it a Dairy Queen. Morrissey will be mad, especially because he's vegan, so you know he doesn't eat dairy. It's my understanding that you didn't necessarily want to be part of this film initially, or like on camera. I mean, is that true?
No, not really. I mean, because the family part of it is an important part of this history and the relationship. And as it developed, I mean, I think our editor Carolyn Kessler is still here. You know, oh, she's right there. You know, the documentary is an amazing process, and I had no idea about any of it. But imagine 100 or 150 hours of film and finding the story in it, and that's what these guys did. So it wasn't that I wanted to make certain that that entire tale was told, and absent being a part of it, it wouldn't have.
I was in a very good way surprised at how honest both you and your father were. I mean, you know, you kind of told it like it was, and he was also very willing to talk about himself in not the best light and admit his shortcomings and everything. And I wondered how hard that was for you to do or to watch.
So it's actually one of the things I admire most about him. You know, we had some significant differences over the course of our history, but he's a human being who's constantly looking to be better tomorrow than he was today. So despite these very difficult circumstances in his childhood that left some very serious scars, he continued the process, say, all right, well, what can I do? How can I improve my relationship with my son? What do I need to change about myself? So while it's difficult, that honesty is a foundation of our relationship, and the ability to say, as I talked about, you have to fucking stop. You have to see it. And so we've spent years doing that. So it wasn't hard to do it on a film either, other than a little bit of apprehension. Is like, what is this gonna look like when they have the final product?
Well, what did you think? I don't know at what point both of you saw it. Did you, much like Sharon, not see it until it was on a screen, or did you see it when it was still like in the working stages?
Oh, I saw it in the working stages, and it definitely got better. Tyler warned me because he says you're gonna watch it the first time and you're gonna hate it. But don't worry, it'll get better. And sure enough, it did. And this entire team could not have worked harder, from the folks in production to the post-production house. At Gijo and Sugar Studios. Brilliant. And to see these guys sit in post-production and go, oh, I don't like the light on that one frame. There's 24 frames in a second. Is remarkable.
And all of it was filmed at the Marquee, or most of it, right?
Most of it.
Most of it. Dave Grohl was in his studio, Billy Gibbons, Lizzie Hale was not. Otherwise, most of them were.
So I have to ask, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I got to go to Miami for the Estefans.
Very cool. So my favorite setting, because you all these different settings, was of course Morrissey in his pajamas, which actually were similar to the cartoon pajamas that Kelly wears later, and with the polystyrene, mural behind him. The other one was the Marquis himself, Michael DeBar. Is that a real hotel room, and did you actually trash it? Did someone have to trash a hotel room?
Yeah, it was a really tough art design doing that. We had to stay up all night and have a real party. No, we wanted the film to not just a talking head of people sitting in a chair talking about the hotel. We wanted it to feel like you're sitting with Kelly and she's having a cup of tea and she's telling you stories. And so we really wanted to have fun. In fact, it started with her. She was one of the first interviews, and she was holding her tea, and she said, "Can I keep my tea?" And the director and me thought, "No, you can't have your tea, because what if you're here? It's here in one shot, and there in the other." And then I just said, "You know what? To hell with it. Let's have fun and let's be creative." And then it just went from there, where we were messing up Billy Bob's room and putting panties in the back of shots of Michael DeBar, and it really created this creativity that you don't see in other documentaries.
But it fits Michael perfectly.
It does, more than perfectly, yes.
Did the stars who shot their interviews at the hotel get to choose? They're like, oh, I really want to do it by the pool.
Well, Richard Marx, we were a little concerned. Did we really want to put him in the bathrobe? And he said, of course, I have no problem. First of all,
Come on, put them on too.
He went in the bathroom to get in a robe, and when he came out, we were all in robes. So it was kind of fun. Morrissey, actually, he didn't know we were doing that as a theme, and we'd already shot a few that looked like that. He sent an email and it said, "I will do the interview, but I know they will put me in a chair in front of the flowers. So I want to be in bed in my gym jams." He said, "Absolutely, you can be in bed in gym jams," and he was.
Are those gym jams that come with the hotel, or is that like a signature thing, or is it?
Those were his gym jams, man. We don't know where
They're
they came from.
They're quite stylish. Sharon, where were you interviewed in the hotel for your scenes?
In one of the bungalows.
Was there
The
any?
presidential.
The presidential.
Of
Yeah.
course.
We kicked
The Princess
Matthew
in Dark.
McConaughey out just
Yeah.
for that.
Was that one that you used to live in, or?
No, we stayed much further down, and it was had how many bedrooms in the presidential?
I think there's 3.
No, there's 2 different bedrooms, and the villas you were in have 2 as
Yeah.
well that are on Alta Loma.
Yeah.
What was I going to ask about that? Just in general, what was it like in terms of kind of holding court there for months or weeks at a time? In terms of it, like I think you spent Thanksgivings there, and Christmases there.
Just fabulous. I mean, it was, it would be, even when we'd move, it would be into our homes. It would be like Sunday, oh, let's go to the hotel for lunch. It was, it was just always comfortable. You wanted to keep going back because you knew you would see everybody that you know.
And famously, at the beginning, Kelly says that it was the only hotel in Los Angeles that would let Ozzy stay or wouldn't kick him out or let him be himself. Did you try any other hotels, like the Chateau or whatever, and it just, much like Chris Robinson's story, it was not going to work?
Yeah, you try everywhere, and every new hotel wants to get everybody's business and whatever, and they offer you deals and all of that, and they're great, but they're cold. There's no soul.
So how old were all the children when you first stayed there as a family, and why did it feel like it was home to you?
God, they must have been 2, 3, and 4. Yeah.
What's your favorite family memory at the hotel?
I think that being on the road all the time and then coming back to the hotels in the summer, every summer Ozzy would tour. So when they knew that they were coming back to that hotel, it was like, yeah, this is it. It was always such a great feeling.
I can't imagine you're someone who'd get easily starstruck, but were you ever starstruck by anyone that you saw in the lobby or by the pool or in the hot tub? Maybe not in the hot tub.
No, it was because because they're your friends. I mean, when it started, then all the actors would come into the whiskey bar or whatever it was. That was different. But it's a big hotel, so you can still stay there and not see any of that. That's why the bungalows were so great. So it was like two hotels, in fact, because we were always in the bungalows with the kitchen for the kids and all of that. And so there would be that going on here, and then there was a family over here, you know, and I'm trying to make them some food in the kitchen, and it's a total different world. But it's home. So it just worked, and it worked for us.
Obviously, there's other hotels, nice hotels, famous hotels in LA. I mentioned Chateau Marmont, that's another iconic one. But it feels like, I think you may have even said it, that the hotels like that felt a bit snooty.
Yeah, it was, you know, the chateau is fabulous. It's a fabulous building. They preserved it perfectly. But again, you still get that snottiness there, you know.
Mark, how did you and your father, before you, foster that? Because a kind of theme that was going through the film is it's like a hugely famous hotel yet a best kept secret at the same time. And Kelly jokes like, I don't want people to even know about it or whatever. Like, so you're making this film that's going to make the hotel more famous, and yet it's still a hideaway. Was that a concern of yours when?
Most definitely, but we thought that the story was important enough. I mean, 63 years in, and we've already lost a lot of people. And the music world, for me, you know, it defined times of joy and times of sadness. And I grew up listening to rock and roll and Motown, and it defined, much of it defined who I became. And so to lose those stories and that sense of community and the sense of home that people felt like it was going to be worse than the idea of upsetting Kelly. So that's why these guys, when we were talking about it, and I think they did a beautiful job of telling it in a way that was, you know, Michael Barr says it was a shithole. So it's not that it
said that with love.
Glorifies the property and much things, but that's the stories were, for me, too important to let slip into the vacuum.
Did you? What is your father? I assume has seen the film.
He's still alive. He's 95.
No, I know. No, I said, has he seen the film?
Oh yes, he
And
definitely.
I just want to know what his reaction was to it.
He loved it. You know, despite the challenges, you can look at it, and as my wife, who's here, describes it, it's really a love letter to him. You know, it's those were my efforts to, as I said, try and take care of him. And despite those differences, despite those challenges, I always understood that this guy had fought for me and fought, you know, worked his ass off so that I didn't have to go through the same things that he did. So that was a sense of filial duty that, I don't know, I couldn't not do it.
But he also taught you a work ethic and not to be entitled, which is so important.
Well, we are in the service business, and at the end of the day, what you find appealing of the staff, the people that have been there for 18 and 20 and 30 years, I mean, Rod Conduct's 31 years, Peter at the front door is 20 years. Well, why? Why are they there? Because we're in the service business, and I have to take care of my staff the way I expect them to take care of our guests. If not, it's not a good fun. So that's an important part of the history. You know, we're a small company, and every individual, whether they work with us, whether they walk in the front door, is equally important.
Well said. So it's interesting to me, Tyler and Craig, there were so many layers to the story. You could have gone in a bunch of directions. You had all the rock and roll debauchery tales that everybody wants to hear about. Then you sort of took a little pivot towards the end about, you know, people getting sober, addiction recovery, and kind of those wild times not really being the way they were in the 80s and 90s. And then there was the whole there was a whole history of LA part. There's the whole father-son story at the heart of it. How did you manage like, I think you did a wonderful job getting all of that in there, but that's like not easy to do. You could have just picked one route and just made it like Crazy Rock Tales or whatever.
I think that gets old really quickly, is what we found. But another thing is we knew that the hotel is a rock star, and so it just follows the life cycle of the rock and roller as well, where you get to the point where you either evolve or you die. And so I think there was just kind of the inherent 3-act structure there that it naturally followed.
I mean, as Mark says in the film, the hotel was founded when rock and roll was kind of established in 1963, and the evolution of the hotel kind of follows the same evolution as Murkiadis, who is here, actually. There he is, yeah. Titan of the industry. Kind of mentions that the hotel went through the same ebbs and flows of the music industry. So we weren't cramming that story in, we weren't cramming the father and son story in. It was native and inherent to the story itself. And the story of rock and roll is very much the story of the Sunset Marquee. I mean, it's really an unknown story, the amount of people and the amount of songs, the amount of... My favorite part of that whole film is Dave Grohl saying, be together and make things together and be creative. And in this world we live in today, it's less and less happening. You can have a Zoom meeting, you can write scripts, you can make movies without even seeing another person. And we tried even making this movie. How many people can we have, and how many creative people can we get in one room? We didn't hire one animator, we hired 7 different animators, and all of them communicated and collaborated together. So that ethos of the hotel of come, meet, hang out, which if you go to the Sunset Marquee, I guarantee you may meet someone famous or you'll meet someone fascinating. They're always there. That is more important than ever. So the artists and filmmakers and movie makers and music makers out there, get together. Try to meet together. Am I right?
Yeah, and you look at it like a couple of months ago I was there, and there's still the guys from Kiss, still the guys from Duran, Ross Halpin. The people don't leave that place. No matter how, that's it. They stay with it.
Could be the title of a horror movie. Once you check in, you're never checking out.
Did you ever get to go to Duran Duran's club, Privacy? I mean, that was one of my favorite things. They have a song called Late Bar that's actually like, okay, we'll take that conversation offline. And I think we could go on longer, but unfortunately we have to wrap things up. I'll let you have the final word, because I know a lot of people came here to hear your stories. You already gave us some very good ones.
Oh, God. I'm imagining in my mind what's going to happen online tomorrow. And John, don't look at me like that. I think it's a fabulous story. It needed to be told, and it couldn't have been better people to tell the story, because your love of music is so prevalent in everything that you do, and with everything you do. So it's just, I'm very proud to have been a little tiny part of it. It's a legacy for my family, for everybody that was in there. It's fantastic.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
I'm going to say one more thing, and that is thank you for coming, but also the film is on digital. It is on Apple and Amazon. It is available for download. Please tell your friends. Please tweet. Please Instagram. Tell everyone about it. Also, on our website, ifthesewallscouldrock.com, so much great stuff hit the cutting room floor. However, Caroline, our editor, edited 7 interviews of unseen material. One of which is an interview, our interview with Kelly and Sharon. Some really great stuff. There's an interview with Billy Bob. There's an interview with Billy Gibbons. There's Billy Bob. Who else is in it? Gene
Morrissey.
Morrissey. There's like 10 minutes and Slash. So that is on our website. You can buy the film there for $5.99. You can buy the bonus material for $1.99. Go check it out.
I have one last question. Sharon, how old was Kelly when that happened? I'm just gonna push it.
Oh, no.
But how was she?
I'm already like...
Can't say I didn't try. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you so much. Thank you.